Good morning, everyone. Today is February 2nd, just before 8:30 a.m. And I am going to start real quick. I opened up my charts a few minutes ago, and I just wanted to take a peek at yesterday's trading. Um, I haven't been putting in as much time as night as I used to, intentionally. I'm trying to make trading a very I don't want to use the wrong word here. I don't want to make it too time intensive. I think that a lot of times people can get overly caught up in homework and things like that, and put so much time into it, and they really end up getting no benefit more than if you had just put in a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes, at the beginning of the day. Now I talk way more because I'm trying to do my best to communicate what it is I'm looking at. I talk way more than normally I would do if I'm just looking at the charts by myself. But here's what I noticed yesterday, and it's really, really awesome. And I'm going to show it to you for 2 days in a row. So take a look at where our low of day was. All right, and it came down to this microcomposite VPOC. Now that move happened awfully fast. That happened right after the news was released. Each bar formed in about seven. It took 40 seconds for all these bars to form. So not really a viable trade opportunity. You come back to test VWAP, and now you come back and you're testing it again. This is 8 minutes later. Great trade setup. Okay, microcomposite VPOC is here. Quick snap down, retest of that low with huge divergence 610, nice divergence 987, slight to no divergence 1597, with microcomposite VPOC acting as support. So good trade setup there. Now you come away from it and look where you go. Right to this other microcomposite VPOC. And you even have a pit stop here in the middle that you could have. And I don't want to take too much time with this. I just wanted to see. So here you got to move back to this microcomposite, and you get divergence here. All right, you get divergence 610, 987, none on the 1597. Maybe not. Let's just say you take a trade here. We're going to use this as a trade. I'm going to try not to cherry pick too much right now. 51. You take a trade here. Here you would get stopped out, assuming you're entering your entire trade here. Now, you guys have seen how I scale. 52, 68, definitely good enough range to start scaling into. So you'd be 1, 2, 3, reverse at the top of this. If you end up not being in a trade, or let's say you took all your position here, got stopped out at a loss above this swing, now you're looking for your next short opportunity. You get two setups here. Number one, you get retest. Sorry. My pen didn't work. Come on, pen. Sorry. 1 second. Always something in the morning. All right. Come on, pen. Come back. So you get two setups here. First, you get retest of this top here. You get a head and shoulders. And you also get, if you take a look down at the bottom here, the BBs, here you spike this high, and as you come over, you have divergence in actually all of them at this point. 610, 987, 1597 has already rolled down here slightly, but it is still divergence. Just a spectacular short setup here. And what would you do? You could do it one of two ways. You can enter your entire position here using this as a stop. If you had scaled in from here, you'd now be in your full position with your stop being, five ticks or so above microcomposite VPOC. And look where it goes back to, all the way down to microcomposite VPOC. And check this out. It doesn't spike all the way to the very low of the day. Now check this out. I'm not even going to discuss what profit targets here were. I mean, there's tons of them. And I wouldn't care if you got out making 10, 20, 30 ticks. Doesn't make a difference. The fact is that was a perfect trade setup for what we watched. You also get Down here, you form a bottom, double bottom at what at that point is current value area low, and look at this divergence. Look at the divergence from here to here. And if that's not enough, look at the divergence from here to here. I mean, I literally couldn't draw a better trade setup for us than what we saw here. And this is a trade that you could have been in anytime, many times. You could have been into, if you're scaling, you could have been into one contract here, gotten out, making, let's just say, making 10 ticks. Okay, you could have gotten back into another contract here, gotten out, let's just say, making 10 ticks. Another contract here, gotten out, let's just say, making 10 ticks. Let's just assume every one of these was a one contract scale, not even where you're taking large positions. Okay, you're that's 30 ticks of trading profit right here. I would not have been. I don't think I would have been going short here at this swing, at the prior day's value very low. I don't think I would have. I would certainly you'd be long down here, certainly. But I just wanted to show you that. And you know what? I also I didn't have a chance to show it to you yesterday, and I think I'm remembering this right. So let's go back into yesterday's. Sorry, 2 days ago daily range, and let's see what that looked like. So high of day, microcomposite VPOC swing. Look how close you are to these levels. I mean, this one literally touches. Sorry, that swing I created because of this. This microcomposite VPOC existed before this happened. Look how nice. You touch it up here, come across, great negative divergence. Touch it again, just great trade setup. Then you end up just pushing straight down. You know, if you're not in that short, I can't really tell you I would get short here. This was at the time VPOC of the day, which you know for sure because you only traded away from here, so you know no more volume was added, so the VPOC stayed up there, so you know it was already previous VPOC. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense to you. Sorry. So you know maybe you're taking a short off of VPOC with with the price action, you know, right here. Maybe I don't know, but certainly you have short setups. You have them twice, you know. So here's a test. You do not have a short setup there. Second test, negative divergence, 610, 987. None on the 1597. Maybe not. Third test, negative divergence, absolutely everywhere. Great trade setup. Great trade setup. All right, so let's get to tonight's homework. I'm sorry, today's homework. Let's look at what happened overnight. Let me stretch that back out. Silly me. All right, so one of the steps we take, let's remove the large dots of value area high and VPOC. That's from 2 days ago now. Let's also remove our overnight high and overnight low from yesterday. That's this. And this. Now we're going to go and we're going to plot today's. Oopsie. I try to make them large so they're easy to find tomorrow. All right, let's also plot yesterday's value area high and low. That's something I want to start doing. And yesterday's VPOC. And I'll do it while it's real visible on the screen. So here is yesterday's. So you'll see I'm going to this profile here. This profile is from yesterday. The profile at the far right is from today. Oh, right. me see what happens if I copy and paste this. Can I do that? I guess I can. Okay. And then yesterday's VPOC. Okay. Now, overnight trading. Let's look at what yesterday's close was. We closed here. We traded beneath. We traded above. Very neutral opening as far as inventory goes. So we're not going to be taking any information from, well, the information we'll take is that it's neutral. At least for now. That might change by the time we get to live. I doubt it will, even though we're trading above the close right now. We're so close to it. I doubt we're going to change our position between now and then. Certainly, if we need to, we will. Okay, so we are currently trading at 53.90. What's that? 98, just about 54. Okay. So let's close this up. Make everything nice and pretty. Bring in our hourly chart. Now remember, hourly chart only shows real-time trading session, the regular trading hours. The pit session, the other chart shows all trading hours. So first thing I'm doing is I'm looking to see if there are any swings that are no longer valid. And I'm going to say, yes, we're going to get rid of this swing. One of the reasons I'm comfortable doing that is because I also have a micro composite there. But that swing was tested above, came below, tested again from beneath, and then traded away from. So that swing is no longer something we're keeping on our screen. This swing here, right in the middle of all this trading action, that's gone. Tested below, traded below, tested above, traded above, that's gone. Yesterday's VPOC is here now. Okay, that's fine. Market composite VPOCs don't change, so we don't move them. The only time they do change, I'm sorry, that's not fair. The one on the most recent profile. So this micro composite here, this VPOC, which is right now here. So this micro composite VPOC here is coming from this micro composite. As I stretch this out, like we're about to, as I add in yesterday's trading, we do have to see, does that VPOC change? So let's see. Here is here it is before yesterday. And let's watch as we stretch this across. Does that level change? Does the VPOC change? No. So this VPOC remains where it was. Perfect. We have another swing here. So I'm just going to turn off this. I'm going to make this hollow for now while I do this, and then I'll change it before I go back to the screen. Okay, so we have another swing, which happens to be sitting right at that microcomposite VPOC. But that swing at this point is also going to get removed. So let's making it a little tough to catch the right one. There we go. Well, I guess I really should have had it up here, but that's okay. That's gone now. Okay, microcomposite VPOC. Let's get that more accurate too. Okay. Let's see if there are any other levels. And what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the price action of yesterday, and I want to see if there are any other levels that got tested and just and just completely invalidated. And that's really about it. That's what we got. Now we're going to add in yesterday's high and low as two swings. Let me just make sure I turned off my drawing program or drawing indicator here. Okay, so that's off. Let's bring this back. Turn this on. Red. I think what I'll do is I think I'm going to make a video just describing how I lay the charts out, so that what I can do in the morning is just come in, just open up and start putting out lines and not describe it every morning. A quick description. Remember, dashes are swings, dots are former VPOCs, not necessarily naked. Um, Dash and dot are microcomposite VPOCs. The orange lines are overnight high and low. I have no idea what this orange line is supposed to be. Did we really trade up that high last night? We did. Okay. Orange lines are overnight high, overnight low. And then the giant dots are value area high, value area low, and VPOC from yesterday's regular trading session. So that is it for what goes on for the homework for crude. Let's see where we're trading currently. We are 53.92. Okay, so just below 54. Let's put together some hypotheses. 53.92. Mark that for myself here. Okay. Give me some room. All right, so let's take a look. We are opening at yesterday's high. All right, so we are technically within range. Even if not, we're going to be, unless we get a serious move before the open, we're not really going to have much of a gap up. So initial expectation for me is going to be an attempt to come back down and trade into yesterday's VPOC. So what that means is we're going to look for an open that's going to give us a move down. Maybe chop around here at this microcomposite VPOC, look for failure there. Maybe chop around here, microcomposite VPOC, ultimately test overnight low. If we can get down here, we got to see, are we going to chop around overnight low, microcomposite VPOC, fail, and this is one of the targets for the day. If we can get some type of trending system, now, I don't expect it to go in that, just like that, but those are the levels that I would expect to see it slow down at. And if it breaks beneath these levels, we're going to start switching. And again, we're going to have to look for context at that time. But this is going to be one. This is going to be one. I'm going to stop yammering and just keep going. All right. Expectation number 2 is going to be push down to microcomposite VPOC, hold, push up, see if we can get above yesterday's high of day, hold, make a run for overnight high. Okay, that's going to be expectation number 2. Expectation number 3, push up, get above yesterday's high, stay above yesterday's high, make a push towards overnight high, see if that can hold. If it does, we're going to look for another push up, and let me see where that's going to ultimately take us. I'll redraw that in just one second. Okay, here we go. Ooh, we got some void there. Let's draw that out. So open, test yesterday's high, stay above it, test this swing, stay above it, test overnight high, maybe get a pullback here, get above it, hold, and we got some room. I definitely would be interested in seeing, if this kind of setup happens early in the day, we hold above high. I'd love to see this exact type of move come down towards the middle of the day, see what other dynamic levels have formed near this swing, and try to catch a long trade there, maybe with some divergence if it sets up that way. That's it for crude oil and our homework for the morning. Now, let's see if I actually did this where I have enough time to maybe. I might. All right. Let's take a look at yesterday's S&P. Now, mind you, this one is one that we're kind of learning together right now. All right. So let's stretch it out. One thing I'm noticing is I don't think we're getting enough bars here. Let me see how long. So these bars are taking well over a minute form, we're going to come down one Fibonacci number here. So that's 1597. So this is going to become a 1597 tick. I want one bar to form about every minute. All right, that's what I shoot for on my trigger chart here. So what that's going to do, this is going to become 1597, and then I'm going to adjust my BBs because I want my shortest time frame BB to match the trigger chart. So this will become 1597 after this one loads. Just kind of got to wait for that. So depending on how this cooperates with us, we may or may not have enough time to do the homework. But we're at the point now where we will be ready and able to start doing that very, very soon, and hopefully we can get it in today. All right, so let's just take a look. Exactly what I showed you on oil before. Swing high holds beautifully. Okay, so easily. Sorry guys, I gotta put you on mute for this. 1 second. Yo, Forrest. Yellow. All right, I think I got butt dialed. I won't. Most phone calls I would not answer at this time of day. That was absolutely one I would. So anyway, let's get back to this. Take a look. So we pushed up, swing high holds. Remember, this was a gap. I'll show it to you on the chart. Swing high holds up here. Now we start making our way down. We get back below that gap. All right. I'm not going to start really looking for trades. I want to show you more how these levels we draw out, they matter. Look what happens when we initially get to this form of epoch. We slow down. There's what happens. That's what happens in areas that you get a lot of you have a lot of volume before. The market facilitates trade, so it comes down to an area where it starts to trade. All right, so now we get below this VPOC. We're expecting this to become an area of resistance next time we come back to test it. We come down. I don't have any levels in here. Now we haven't done a lot of stuff on the ES yet, so maybe when we go to the chart there will be one here, maybe not. But you get a dynamic level now. Your dynamic level is low of day. So you do have this below us, so you want to be sure that when you're entering if you're entering a trade based on low of day, first thing we're going to check is, do we have divergence, right? So let's go back here. Now, mind you, you're watching the bottom three. Hang on. These three are ES, okay? So let's go back to what I was showing you now. We come to low of day, watch those bottom three. What happens when we come back to retest it? We have positive divergence on all three. Now I'm going to change what those three are in a second, but even those three right now, we have positive divergence. We come down, we test even further low, and we've lost the, and we have even more strong positive divergence on the first two, not on the last. So maybe not. You're looking to get into a trade here. This actually, to me, starts setting up as a better trade opportunity. I think the way I would handle this would be a scale here, a scale somewhere here, and a third scale here. So I would only be in two contracts here. You're absolutely out of at least one of them when you get up somewhere in here. You're out of probably both of them at some point up here, and I'm scaling back in again. As long as I still have my divergence, which I absolutely do, even more so now, scaling in again off the previous this here where all these bottoms came in. So scale 1, scale 2, I don't get into my third scale, same thing again, up towards this VPOC. Let's see what happens as we come further down. Still have divergence, not as much. No, sorry, lost divergence here. So I don't know that I'd be getting into the trade here. You do have divergence on the longest of the time frames, the 67, 65, but I don't know that I would have felt comfortable getting in on a long here. But on the flip side, let's see if we have negative divergence when we come back to test VPOC. So we come up here, we test VPOC, we keep trading. No real negative divergence, no real entry trigger here, for at least not for me. We come further over here, we test it again. Now you have negative divergence on 2 of the 3. Third one is pretty much flat, so it's really a neutral signal. You certainly can look to get into one here. If you're trading it off with tight stops, you can enter your entire contract. Stops would have to be above this last swing high. If you're scaling in, you can get into one here, one middle, one somewhere up in here. Stops would have to be above here. So you'll see these levels work. Now it's just a question of being able to respond to them accurately in real time. So let's take a look at what happened overnight. We're going to do the same process that we did with oil. We're going to draw in our overnight low, overnight high. Here's our close. Inventory is net short completely. This is as close to 100% as you're ever going to see. So we are 100% net short with inventory. That's going to give us a potential expectation of a push up at the open. We're going to see if we can't find an open of day trade. We did not look at that in crude. If we have a chance, we will. If not, no big deal. Honestly, those are the least of my concerns. What time is it? I still got a little bit of time. Okay, so we've plotted those two lines. We're also going to now plot the value area high, value area low, and VPOC from yesterday's regular trading session. So that's going to go in here. Okay, I'll copy it from down here then. Make this yesterday's VPOC. Okay, so now we've looked at inventory, we've looked at overnight high, overnight low, we've looked at yesterday's value area and VPOC. Now let's go and take a look at what happens, what we think is going to happen today. All right. Bring this chart in. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the trading at yesterday. I'm also going to get rid of these numbers before they drive me crazy. No. All right. So let's get to it. That's fine. Those numbers aren't going to bother me. So we don't have any swings in here that we had disrespected. So there is nothing to look at in here. We talked about potentially a level down here that we could have used. And if we take a look at it, we do have a prior VPOC that really could have been on. And if you see here, let me hollow this out, try to make this a little more obvious. So here, when this forms, okay, this VPOC forms on this day, it gets touched with a tail, traded below, then it gets broken, okay? You could have taken this off if you wanted to. You could have extended it if you wanted to, which most likely we should. Why? Because remember, I always tell you, I want reasons to stay out of trades. I need help in staying patient. So this would have been a nice one to get that help from. All right, but at this point, we're not going to put it on the chart because it has been, well, we actually may. So let's put in the first obvious ones, the ones that we know are going on. Let me just make sure I have this turned off so it doesn't affect anything. Good. Okay. So the two obvious ones are going to be swing high, swing low yesterday. So the high of day from yesterday and the low of day from yesterday. Okay. Low, high. Let's also see if we can stretch out our micro composite to encompass this? Absolutely. We're within the range of this microcomposite, so that gets stretched out. Microcomposite VPOC is here. It is already marked, so that's going to stay that way. All right. More numbers I want to get rid of. Okay. Then let's see where we're currently trading. 2269. So 2269, and let's see what that means in relation to yesterday's trading. Okay, so we are inside yesterday's range, just above the low of day from yesterday. We are so we don't have a gap below the low. We do have a gap below the close, and let's start drawing out some expectations. Wait a minute, what time is it? Okay, ooh, it's gonna be close. You know what? I'm gonna hold off on that, and I'm gonna see if maybe we get a chance to do that if once we start trading with crude, if maybe that slows down, then we'll come back in there and do that. So it's not as rushed as this would be. And I'd be shocked if I don't have a chance to at least discuss it. So for crude, potential open of the day trade. So we've come up about 10 ticks from where we last saw it. Potential opening trade. Let's take a look here. So we have a high here, our overnight high, come down, trading above VPOC, above yesterday's high, above yesterday's close. All right, so inventory is neutral. I think what we're going to look for, is the two things I'm going to look for is either going to be, honestly, depending on how it happens, it might not be an opening of the day trade. It might just be one of our normal trades. But I'm definitely going to look for a test of overnight VPOC as one option. Come down, test this low. If it happens quickly, maybe we'll look to catch along here if we see a slowdown. The other end of that would be the test of overnight high yesterday. I don't really see any that I love. This is more along the ones I would want to see. The push up the test overnight high, give us a chance to enter a trade on a slowdown, and then make our way back into yesterday's trading range. Right now we're sitting above the high here of yesterday. We're sitting above this gap. Real nice divergence on the 1597 and 987. Goldfish, I don't know if you have a mic or not. I just noticed you were on here. But if you don't have one, I tell you, grab one. Feel free to ask questions as things are happening. If I say something, it's probably the best way for you to learn it. Ask the questions in real time, and if I can, I'll answer them. If not, I'll just ask you to jot it down, and we'll look at it at another time. But feel free to yap away. It's hard for you to do it with the chat. I know there is a chat there in TeamViewer, but it's hard for me to keep an eye on that while while looking at the screen. So there's our push up, not nearly to what I was looking for that open of day trade. So now we're just going to kind of settle in here and see what comes. While that's while that's happening, I'm going to change these charts to what they're going to be. This is going to be a 4181. This is going to be a 2584. This is going to be the 1597. Okay. Remember, we have a big gap above us, above this overnight high. So if we're, I'll even bring this chart back in for a second. Let's see if we're just not seeing anything there. I mean, maybe what, in fact what we'll do is let's throw in a couple of VPOCs here. Remember, I'm looking for reasons to keep me out of trades. I don't want to overtrade. That is by far my biggest downfall as a trader. So we'll throw these two in here just to kind of give us something to keep an eye out for. All right, let's see where we're at. Pushed up, a little turned down. We haven't yet closed the gap, so here is our open of day, right? Here is yesterday's high, yesterday's close. So we're still gapped up above the high of day yesterday, and we are still gapped up above the close of day yesterday. What would be considered was called unchanged. So definitely potentially considering maybe a long here with near the middle of the day opening range mid, but it's not all that enticing yet. But we'll see what sets up. Oh, you know what else I didn't do with you guys today? Every day I get every day I forget to do this with you guys. Sorry about that. What do we got? 10:30 natural gas. All the numbers are out at 8:30. We should have a nice smooth day today. There really shouldn't be much holding us down as far as volatility goes. Now, sometimes the days just aren't very volatile, but it won't be because of news, unless there's something I just don't know of. Like, I don't pay attention to politics, speak when, or any of that shit. So if there is something that I'm overlooking, sorry. Real quiet today so far. Really, really quiet. Just kind of got to sit tight. Well, I'll tell you what. While that's the case, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to. Oh, whoa, hang on. Coming down, testing current opening of the day. Nice divergence. Nice divergence. I'll tell you what we're going to look to do here. We are actually going to look to take. What are we at? 02. Yeah, we're going to start scaling in here. One. Our stop needs to be below yesterday's high, yesterday's close. Okay, so that's 03. Let me just put a few out here and I'll adjust them as I go. Okay. All right, so we're in 3. We're going to have this down. All right, we'll do 86. It's a bit bigger than I normally, but that's okay. So 17. Let's do this here. 97. What if we did 97? 91. What's that do for us? Let me take a look at that. That's not bad. We can actually do a little better than that. We can go 93, 98. And that puts us here at 86. Now let's come down back. Let's do that 91. Okay. So came down. We tested opening of the day. We have nice divergence in all three of these right now. So that was the reasoning for that particular trade. We still have divergence 987, 1597, even as we push down further. We're losing that divergence into 610. So we may consider right now the way it's setting up. I'd still be willing to get into my second scale, but depending on how this happens, that might change. Really starting to lose that there. So okay, I'm canceling my third scale. I'm bringing up my stop loss here. So we're just going to hang out the two contracts for now. Or where's our entry here? 54 even. Is that right? Yeah, 54. So right now I have a 15 tick risk on two contracts. All right, so that's my $300 maximum risk. Now, depending on how this sets itself up, all right, if we see some consolidation down here, a little move up, some consolidation, start getting back our divergence here, we would be willing to get back into a third contract. But if it continues to just drive down, then no, I don't want to take that third contract. So I did want to start maybe taking a look at ES, but right now we really have to be paying attention to what's going on in crude, because we have the variable of, do we want to scale into a third contract, and we don't want to do that unless we see the divergence set up. So actually at this point, no matter, even with some movement here, there's not much for us to do until some trade settles in. So I'm going to move that over to the side so I can see it. Let's get back to doing some homework here. All right, so our hypothesis for ES. Now this time, keep in mind, we don't open till 9:30, okay? 22, just about 2270. Just about 2270. Mark that off here. All right, so let's see what that means. Oh, we are opening right inside yesterday's range, yesterday's value. Hang on, there's, as usual, something missing. And maybe I have this on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so crude has come back. I'm gonna pull it over here real quick. Crude has come back here. We're back to our initial entry. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get this guy out of the way. First proper target is going to remain at 10 ticks. Huh. Why? Why will it remain at 10 ticks? Hang on one second, guys. We might adjust that. And I don't mind if it hits it while I'm futzing around and I get out at 10 ticks. You'll never hear me complain about that. But let's see. So we have our first profit target at 10 ticks, but we're into our two contracts. 10 ticks is way away from the current high of day. still below by a few. I shouldn't say way away. 9 ticks away from current high of day. I don't believe we would have negative divergence from what I can guess as price traded back up there. I'll tell you what, we will we'll leave it like that. We'll leave it like that. Let's bring the ES back in here. And so once again, let's make sure we're still 2270.50. 2270.75. All right, so we're right around this 2270 area here. So we are trading right at the bottom of yesterday's value. We are inside yesterday's range, very close to yesterday's value. So depending on where we open, what we're going to be watching for is expectation number one, little bit of a chop, a move immediately to yesterday's VPOC, potentially chop around. If we break through it, test of yesterday's value area high, and then possibly kind of rotating back and forth between value area high, value area low. So that's going to be hypothesis number one. Hypothesis number two is we open right near the bottom of value and we fail trying to get back into yesterday's VPOC, push down towards low of day yesterday, hold, make its way back up towards VPOC. And then again, we're back to what we said before, chop between value area high, value area low. Not that I can consider that all that much chop. That's 6 points there, which is plenty in the ES. We're going to call that number two. Number three is we're going to do 4 on this one. We're going to do four total hypotheses. Number three is going to be open, push to VPOC, fail, get back through yesterday's value area low, mess around in here, get through yesterday's low, and start moving down towards the microcomposite VPOC from here. If we do not hold here, you could see that we get into the area of a nice big void down there. So if we can get through microcomposite VPOC and that holds as resistance, even if we test the swing, come back up, this holds, test the swing, hold, then the break of the swing, we can see this area get traded through fairly quickly. So that's going to be number three. Number four is going to be the exact opposite of that. We're going to look at the same idea to the upside. We open, test yesterday's VPOC, it holds, test yesterday's value area high, it holds, test yesterday's high, which is, that's way up top. So still got tons of room to yesterday's high up here. And then we see, if yesterday's high holds, then again, we're going to look for a return back down towards VPOC from yesterday. And then we'll see what the dynamic levels at that point are for our day, initial balance, opening range high, VPOCs, things like that. So we're going to call this one number 4. All right, it kind of gives us a starting point. Oh, shoot, I forgot to start taking screenshots. I got to think of a good way to do that. So let me get this chart away and this chart back where it belongs. Let's see what we've done here in crude. Haven't moved much since we last looked at it, but it's okay. Have not yet created divergence. I'm looking from this low. Okay, so what we'd like to see, first of all, what I'd like to see is just to move up, give me my 10 ticks, and call it the first trade. That's great. You could, if you wanted to get a little bit more conservative with your stop now, you could move your stop up to here, right underneath this swing. I really don't want to do that yet. I really, really don't. It's not a horrible idea, but I really don't. Let's say, come on, get above this mid. Get above mid of day here for me. We got to start watching that now. If that VWAP in mid of day start holding, which I didn't really pay attention to it before while I was doing the ES homework. But if that's really going to start to hold, we might need to consider scaling out of our trade here a little bit. Come on, get out of there, go. Go, you bastard. Sometimes it helps if you curse at it. Really, really need to see that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add this one indicator you guys have heard me talk about. Go, 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 go. Get out of there. Okay, so we're up 10 ticks on one of our entries, but not on our average price. Just missed it. I'm not happy about that. Not happy about that at all. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Moving this one here. I'm closing out of one of them here. I didn't like how that just spiked out and came back in. So first one out, second one I'm going to tighten my stop to break even. I really don't like how what that just did there. That sharp push, we've seen that before where it gets trapped. You make a quick push above mid, above VWAP, and then you come back below it and start trading down. So I don't like how that did that. So we're at a risk-free trade at worst. We've made 5 ticks on that trade overall. If it ends up pushing back up, so be it. I'd rather start looking now again if we get divergence, which we really don't have yet at this low. If we get divergence, I'd like to see if maybe get back into a long position, but I just didn't like what that did. And now, of course, it's going to prove me wrong, but that really. How many times have we seen over the last week where it misses our profit target by 1 tick and then turns around and it comes all the way down to stop us out? Tell you the truth, right now, we're actually got to start watching this for a short. Got to start watching this for a short. Low of day is 93. We're at a high enough. It's not high enough to be happy to with that potential 10 tick profit target. So you have low a day at 93. You have yesterday's high, yesterday's close. You still have all this here. But, oh man, it's really gonna eat at me if this makes its push now. But that just bothered me right there. To be missed by a tick. It's just happened too many times, All right. Anyway, so let's not harp on that. How far are we before? About 10 minutes to the open of the stocks. I can't believe this. I might have to actually take a potty break here for a minute. But this is. Oh no! So we got a little micro double top here. Nothing that we're going to use as a trade reference right now. We have now come off of where the BBs were at the bottom. I mean, obviously price has come up, but I don't think we would have divergence if we turn back down. Depending on how it happens, if we turn back down now, I really don't think we would have divergence yet down here. Still would not have been out at our first 10 tick profit target. I believe that was at here at 10. So maybe not on that particular push. Maybe we would have been out, maybe not. But I still look at this as a potential short here. Not just gonna throw one in there. Not just gonna throw one in there. I don't have enough to do it. And like I said, right now it looks like it's really just gonna mess with me a little bit and do that stupid slow stair step that I have no ability to trade. Every one of these candles. higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. Now this one so far has yet to form a higher high. The other way I could have handled that trade was I could have closed out the one where I did, that 5, 5, 6 tick profit target, move my stop underneath this swing, which would have put it at overall about, I want to say we were in at 54 if I remember right. Ah, man. Silly Eddie. Silly Eddie. So definitely out of our first target there would have been 10 ticks. Gosh darn it. All right, a little bit too conservative on my part, but what I was saying is the other way you could have handled it is, when you saw this snap out here, pull back, you could close out the first contract, move your stop down here to, let it be 90-ish or so. I just don't like that. I'm sorry, here. Move your stop below these here down to where the hell was our entry? Let's see, is there a way? What's the easiest way to figure out what our average entry was? I can do it this way here. Executions. Let's just look at today. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking back over on another screen. All right, so we had an entry at so yeah, our average entry was 54. So you could have under here put a stop in at 97, taking your first 5 ticks. You're at a risk-free trade at that point, and then leave one runner on. You could have done that too. All right. Anyhow, let's get to it. 9:25. Equities are a few minutes away from opening. You can see how we are just sitting right inside yesterday's value, which is represented by, should be, there we go. Sorry, right below yesterday's value here, right where we were drawing our hypotheses. So we're still going to be looking. What I'd like to see as maybe an opening of the day trade, push down to overnight VPOC and this swing with the, oh, come on, oil. Fuck. All right, well, let's take a look. No real divergence so far for high of day. It still looks like as we push up there that we will lose that divergence. Well, okay, listen, forget the trade we were just in. We made some money on it. No big deal. I'm talking to myself now. And let's just start looking for the next setup. So certainly we're not, this, where we are right now and the way this is setting up, we really can't have any expectation long or short right now. The skew, in my opinion, which means nothing, I'm just going to pay attention to what happens, is long. But we just got to wait and see. If we start forming some more divergence and we make a push towards the higher day, we would certainly watch that for a potential short. I also like to see what happens if we get to overnight high. But other than that, right now it's just the waiting game. It's amazing how few candles form overnight with the ES as compared to what forms during the day. let me show you. This is the day session, and then this is the entire overnight session. And obviously, there's way more time overnight, but it's just such little bit happens. Where if you take that same look at crude, that same look at crude, you get a much more evenly distributed, meaning volume wise. So here's your day yesterday, here's your overnight. It's about half. Still substantially less, but in ES it's very noticeable. All right, so we turned back down a little bit, messing around here with VWAP in the middle of the day. Just kind of, for me at this point, just kind of got to hang out. We're gonna watch to see if we form some divergence. Sorry, if we head back down and we form divergence at the low of day, or near the low of day, we'll look to see if we can get along there. Okay, so we're going to switch over to ES just for the. Oh, wait a minute. Let's make sure I have my. Okay, so just bumping up against lower value, yesterday's value area low. Crude's making a push there down. Now this is when we're watching two trading contracts. We got to be very careful, make sure we're entering orders on the right one. So you have to not just hover over it, you have to click on the chart. I have done that many times. I guarantee you will see me do it. You'll see me make that mistake. All right, so opening in 10 seconds. No real divergence off the low currently for crude oil on the low of day, so it would have to set up better than this for us to look for a long. All right, so here's what we're looking for. With ES, the opening of day trade, I'm looking to see if we can get a push down to overnight VPOC, and this swing, a little bit of a slowdown there. I'll look to get a return up towards yesterday's regular trading hours, the RTH VPOC. All right, didn't come. Clicking back over to crude, and now I'm just going to watch them both. I mean, we have everything set up for the two of them. Let's just kind of see what happens. Crude may have given us a chance to get another long down here off these triple bottoms, but we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. So S&P, not sure what it wants to do around this value area low. Does it want to come back into yesterday's value? Does it want to come back and get out of here? Okay, here we go again. See if we can't get down towards these. It's hard for me to consider this opening of the day move now. It's already been a good few minutes, but this is what we were looking for. See if this holds, push down to overnight VPOC, and I'm gonna take my first. This is my first ever trade on the ES. So sorry if I get it wrong, but we'll give it a shot. I have an 8-tick stop loss, which is exactly what I want in here. I'm going to scale. Going to be willing to scale. I'll actually probably be able to come down even a little more. I'm going to scale all the way down. So what do we have? This might be too wide for a scale in the ES. Mind you, I am not kidding when I tell you I'm learning this with you right now. I'm going to get into a second position right here, part of my scale. Let's stack these up. Okay, so now what we're looking for, 68. So let me think about it. The S&P each tick, the minimum size move is a quarter point. So when you see down 75 cents, that's 3 ticks. I probably should turn this into Let's see something here. All right, so let me just figure out where we're going to have our stops right now. 22, 68, 25. So we're willing. Each point, so from 2269 to 2268, is worth $50 per contract. Okay, so we're gonna say we're willing to have. Well, hang on, let's start looking at some scaling out here. Hang on one second. Where are we in? 68 and a quarter. I want to be shooting for 70 and a quarter, I guess. Let's move this guy up here. I got a lot to figure out what the fuck I'm doing with this with this right now. Okay, that's where I want to be. I want to be out of one right there. Stop the break even. Now I'm shooting for this VPOC for the next level for as far as the trade goes. Let's take a look to see what we have. We do have slight divergence on the 1597 and the 2584 as we come up towards current high of day. Great target there. All right, we're out of that trade. Yay, first trade on ES was successful. Nicely done. Okay. Apparently, I was just told I have a chat room that I go into some days, and I was in it yesterday, and I never realized I didn't close it out. I have it on mute, and apparently there is, even though I have it muted on my computer, they were still yapping, and you can hear them. You can hear them on the video. I'm gonna see if I can't find a way to adjust the video so that doesn't happen. I certainly don't want you guys to think that what someone else is saying I agree with. It does seem that we are looking. It does seem that the guy that I was listening to is looking at the similar levels. He's not doing it the same way. He's looking at it through price action and other stuff. But all right, let's go back real quick to this ES. Let's see what's happening here. So we have I'm looking at the wrong ones now. No real divergence down here at the bottom. So nice. We were able to get out of our first contract there at 8 ticks. Did have a nice bit of divergence as we came back up. That actually could have set up there for a nice short. Really could have looked to reverse that. But to tell you the truth, I was so fumbling around. I don't have my proper profit targets and stop losses set yet, and where I want to move things to break even. So I'm going to have to do that. But that actually set itself up for a potential nice reversal. You would have had to have seen it before it got there. It turned around awfully quick. If you didn't see it, you wouldn't be in it. And right now we have We do not have divergence from the current low of day. I'm not going back into low of day from overnight. I'm sorry. I'm not going back to overnight low. From the current low of day to right now, we do not have divergence. So I'm being a little bit hesitant on getting into any trades there. Over on ES, we're just kind of stuck in the range, the current value area. You can see as we've been trading now, and remember, I don't use value area volume profile too much in the morning. This at this point already, almost 40 minutes into the day, I certainly start paying attention to it. You know, and right here you see this fall off in volume from this volume node to this low volume node. You see this fall off, and we tested it, made this double bottom here, this micro double bottom. We're one tick above this micro triple bottom, and you right now we've just been swinging between value area low, value area high. That's only 10 ticks, so there's no trading in there for me. There's nothing for me to do in there. Oh, I don't know why I'm not seeing. There should be text up here somewhere. And Ninja Trader might strikes again. What the? All right, never mind. Let's take a peek over here at the ES. Coming back to test lower day. You know, I'm more right now, considering that we weren't able to get back into yesterday's value. I like this more for a short than I do for a long. Maybe we'll get a move back up towards middle of the day. You can see we're putting a lot of volume in down here. A lot of volume. Didn't really get much. Didn't really get much as we pushed up there. Volume's happening down here at the bottom. Let's see if that's going to lead towards a push down, kind of stretch this profile out. What I mean by that is, is it going to become a bell shape, right? So right now you have this big volume spike, but if that stretches out and adds a little bit more, now you have a nice bell shape, which is one of the things that could happen when you're looking at a volume profile early. You start trying to understand what might it turn into. It could also turn into a B-shaped profile, right? So now we're looking at it backwards because it's on the right side, but that's the backwards letter B. So if it turns into that, now you've got all this volume up here, and then what would happen is a sharp push up to the upside, which again would bring us towards this VPOC from yesterday. So didn't really have divergence down here when we came back to form this next to double bottom. We did have this previous VPOC. That was actually, if you remember, when I got into this trade, first trade came because I was looking for overnight VPOC and this swing. Okay, so I got into this trade. Really never set up there. I might have gotten ahead of myself. Really never set up there. Then I was looking for this former VPOC as my scale and was going to look to potentially scale all the way down into above overnight low, using overnight low as our stop. Obviously didn't get down that far. Might have gotten ahead of myself with the first entry here. But that being said, you definitely had some good entry opportunity down here for this scale in. So I was very happy that I was ready for that. I didn't have the trades out there. I took them as it was happening. To be honest with you, it's a little bit more difficult to watch two of these at once than I thought. Now that's going to change. We'll get more used to it. And the other thing I have to do is I have to figure out another color scheme for the ES. I have it tinted slightly more red in the background, but I really would like to see. Hey, wait a minute. I did have it slightly more red. Hang on, I think I had like a. Let's see what that does. There we go. I'm not going to do it that drastic, but that's kind of the idea. Oh yeah, that's right. I had to rebuild this stupid workspace because Ninja Trader messed with me. All right, so yeah, I can see a difference between the two. I really want to. Maybe I will make it more obvious. Even while I was in that trade and I was talking about divergence, negative divergence, I caught myself looking at the wrong BB boxes. Let's say that 10 times fast. I'm very, very excited that our first ever trade on ES went well. Hopefully, that's a sign of things to come. So I'm actually going to make the BBs even more obviously different. I'm not doing it on the trigger chart because there's so much more information on the trigger chart that I don't want to lose that in the color. But on the BBs, I can be a little bit more contrasting versus the oil. And I wish there was a way. See, there's my crosshairs, the way I have them set up, at least for right now. As I scroll across a chart, you see those crosshairs moving along all the other charts. I wish there was a way to link. I have these three charts linked by the fact that if I change what tool I'm looking at, what future I'm looking at, it will change across all those charts. I wish there was a way to link it so that when I hover over this chart, the crosshair only moves over the other crude oil charts. Sorry, I'm just answering a couple quick messages here. Okay. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you guys that I'm doing it so that when it doesn't work later, for all I know, some of you guys think I don't know what I'm doing out here with this NinjaTrader, and maybe I don't. Save. Do that again. Save. And now, because of what I went through last time, I'm going to save this. Right now, that was number 3. I'm going to save it as number 2. And number 1, which has no number. Okay. Now, in the event one of those, whoa, look what's happened in crude here. All right, let's take a look. No divergence down here. We started talking about that. We started talking about that before, that we weren't seeing potential divergences. We were coming down towards low of day. So we just had a nice flush testing overnight VPOC right now. I'm not not looking to get long here. Not looking to get long here yet. What time we got? Okay. Love to see a pullback into middle of the day right now. Definitely would look at that. We do have divergence if you go back into the overnight session. On the 610, 987, you got divergence. 1597, you've lost it. So 2 out of 3. Some of you might look at that as a potential trade opportunity, and you might be right. You might be wrong. For me, with that 1597 just being so obvious that it is not diverging, I would not want to get into a long here just yet. I really don't see a good reason to have gotten short here. Just hovering around VWAP back and forth. Maybe I'm almost making this one up. You got your slight, real tight consolidation here, a trap to the upside, come back below the VWAP. Maybe an entry at the breakout here. I don't like trading breakouts. I'm not all that crazy for that. Excuse me. You do have the only thing I can potentially see. You do have you have so here's your low, right? For those of you that are looking at second entries, here's your low. I don't count this as a second entry short because that signal bar is horrible. I don't count this as a second entry short because this signal bar is horrible. So let me Let me see if I can make this a little bit more clear. Here's your low. So what you're looking for is as you're climbing up, when you have a candle that breaks below a previous candle's low. So here's this candle breaks below. Let's turn this into a pointer here. Sorry, I'm going to remember how to do that. 1 second. Okay. This candle breaks below this previous candle's low. So that's your first entry short. I don't count this because this is a bad signal bar. A good signal bar would show some red in it, more than just a little. Then we start climbing up here again. This candle breaks this candle's low. Bad signal bar. I don't count that. If this candle broke this candle, I would count that as my first entry. So it did not. So now, still, I don't count that. We push down. You can count this as your first entry if you want. If you choose not to, because it's already the second candle lower, then you can count this as your first entry. Here's your signal bar. You push below. It's nice. Here comes your second decent signal bar. You push below. You could have taken a second entry here if you wanted to. I'm not crazy about those. I don't do them well enough to feel confident. So I don't. Continue to push down. Broke overnight VPOC. Let's see what's below us here. We have a microcomposite VPOC coming up. We got a nice little gap beneath that. Still looking for a pullback to get short. I don't know if it's going to set up in time for us. Meanwhile, in ES, got back into yesterday's value. Let's just see, while we weren't watching, let's just see if anything's set up here. I really don't see anything down here in this consolidation. There was no divergence in the BBs. BBs didn't start pushing up till price started pushing up. So I didn't get any help off of that. You know, someone else may have, but I didn't. Let's see if we're going to end up being able to test yesterday's VPOC. Little pullback on crude right there. Little pullback right into yesterday's close. Oh, jump yet over here. Right into yesterday's close. So we got to pay attention to that right now. That's being respected at first touch from underneath. That's the first time we tried to test it from the bottom. Not really enough of a pullback for me to want to get short. I would not have gotten. There's no way I would have gotten short there. Quick pullback, touching yesterday's close and goes away. There's no way that I'm taking that as a short trade. And you know, it might fall 100 ticks from there, but it's just not something that I would have seen as a setup. Look at ES there, pushing away. Yeah, so far, how far close we get? 22.70. What was that? 72.50. We're a point away, 4 ticks away from yesterday's VPOC right now. That was the high. So if we start consolidating down here on crude, maybe a little rolling consolidation, we should get the BBs to start creating some divergence. If we do, most likely, and again, there's no way I'm going to be in front of the screen for it. If we do, most likely what we'd be looking for is going to be a rolling over, maybe setting up of divergence, potentially starting to get into trades here at overnight low. Definitely would want to scale down to this microcomposite VPOC, and let's see what the distance is between those two, 52, 69, so 17 ticks. The problem is if we start entering here, we're 20 ticks away from where we want our stop to be. So if you're entering here, the most you can scale down to is this microcomposite VPOC, and you would have to have your stop beneath here. Not crazy about that. I'm not crazy about that because your stop would be kind of in an area where I would also be trying to want to get long in a scale from here to here. So I'm not crazy about having a stop in this area here. So I'm going to be in order to get long, it would have to be a really clear and nice setup. Much more interested right now in a potential pullback up towards middle of the day, you know, towards the bottom of this this consolidation that happened up here. Let me draw that instead of just point. That consolidation to the bottom of somewhere around there. Here's your micro double bottom. You can see how we just quickly push through. My guess is that we had a bunch of stop orders right beneath this here, right beneath this micro triple bottom, maybe even some beneath this micro double bottom. You see, once we get below that, we just push. Okay, getting a bit of a pullback here. I just noticed that there's a level missing. That's why. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'm going to draw it in. There's a level on our homework chart that is not showing up on our trigger chart. I'm going to add it in here so we have it. I got to change the way it's drawn. Okay, there it is. Let's see if that changed anything. It's going to suck if it did. Okay. Not really. Not really. Although, now I'm not so surprised as to why it started to consolidate here. But still didn't give us any trade setup down there. But would have made, if you were short somewhere from in here, if you found the reason to be short, definitely would have given you a decent profit target area. Although I probably would have used overnight VPOC since it's so close. I probably would have been a little bit more conservative. But I really don't. You got your okay. You got a pullback to opening range mid, so you get a move down, pull back to opening range mid, one more attempt to move down, an attempt again at opening range mid. That holds. At that point, you could start watching this as your line in the sand, where if price stays below it, we expect to continue to push down. I could see how somebody could have found a short opportunity in there. I didn't. I believe I was watching ES at that point. I don't think I would have seen it anyhow. I think the closest thing I would have seen to a short setup is this candle right here. When we get another tail above the VWAP, close below the VWAP, then we break below this candle. This is the first thing I might have looked at as a short setup, and then scale potentially all the way up through to this swing high. That's the only thing that maybe, and without seeing it live, I'd be lying to you if I said for sure I would or I wouldn't have. We are now looking for a short setup here. And I might have actually just missed our first entry. It's 9:55. I'm not going to be in front of the screen for this. I'm not crazy about that. Not crazy about the fact I'm not going to be here. I do like this setting up for the first of a short, maybe all the way up through opening of the day, kind of midway through this consolidation to add on to it. Current VPOC just as another reference to that level, but I really do like this at the beginning of a short. But I'm going to have to go, and I don't want to just leave a trade on here without being able to manage the scales. You saw earlier today when we were in a trade, and it turned out I don't think I would have actually ever gotten into my third scale, but you saw earlier today when we first got into a trade, and I think it was 97 was the last of the entries, and we had 93 as our bottom scale. Let me think. It was 5403. Yeah, it was 5403, 97, 5403, 5397, and 5391 were our entries. So we never actually got into our third, but we took it off. We didn't even leave it on there because of the way we were losing divergence as we were coming down. So you saw how sometimes you even have to manage your scales. You want to make sure that everything is still reading in your favor, not just to get a better average price. Honestly, I'd rather only keep 2 contracts and stretch my risk. Be able to take more ticks in risk. If I'm in 3 contracts, I can take a 10 tick risk from my average entry. If I'm in 2 contracts, I can take a 15 tick risk from my average entry. So I'd rather give it the room to move around. If I still believe that I'm in a decent price zone, I'd rather give it the room to move around, which is probably, I guess I have to do some math on that. But anyhow, so that's why I'm saying I don't want to just throw a trade in here and not be able to be here to manage the scales. But at this point, I would look at this as the beginning of a potential short opportunity. I'd look to scale all the way up towards the open of the day, the current VPOC, and then on the way down, I'm looking to see number one, from down from here to here. I'd like to see if we can get 10 ticks, which we certainly have room for at this point. Right, we're at 92. We're 15 ticks away. So certainly, if we take our first short here, you can get a 10 tick move and still be above low of day. If we lose divergence when we come back down there, maybe we scale out of 2 if we end up in more than one position. And then ultimately, my profit target is going to be here. If I have 2 contracts, 10 ticks, right above microcomposite VPOC, right above microcomposite VPOC. If I have 2 contracts, I don't know if I just said 2 or 3. If I have 3, 10 ticks, right above here, right above here. If I have 2, 10 ticks, right above here, and I would be looking to be able to scale into a third. All right, guys, at this point, I'm going to call it a morning. Nice day of trading. Did make a couple of mistakes, but if my mistakes still make us money, then that's a good day of trading as far as I'm concerned. You guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.